Living with a partner with mental illness is extremely difficult in so many senses of the word.
I must admit, I cry sometimes, but you know, if you don't cry, you're not a human being and you don't have an emotional shield. You're letting out all the emotions and then you develop to be a better person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a good 2 years before we got on top of it, and that put a huge strain on our marriage and our relationship. And yeah, we're lucky that we managed to come out of it okay. Yeah, it was pretty hard to do, but if you want to, you can do it. You just have to put in the effort and persevere more than anything. Even when things are going completely wrong, if you stick it out, there is hope at the end, I think.
I've learned to be patient. I've learned to be understanding, but sometimes I've been told I'm not very understanding. I think that's, you know, with all families, I think you've got to have your ups and downs, and being patient is the key, and also don't take things to heart when there's mental illness.
The thing that you can do is, and the thing that you should do and you have to do, is be supportive, 100% supportive. Be understanding, don't be condemning, don't be critical, don't be blaming, and just be completely supportive, and just keep on letting your partner know that, look, you're doing a great job, you're working towards it, and that works, that does work.
That we allow each other to talk about things that we disagree, and invite the children to know that there is disagreement, so they can feel that there is differences in opinion, and at the same time there is an agreement on a middle ground. Now that's one of the basic strengths I think has worked for a long time, and there are other strengths that where we don't allow ourselves to scream at each other and using words in front of the children, so they understand that if you are disappointed or disagree about something, you can go somewhere, you can go another safe place, and then later on come back and discuss things.
That understanding, I've always maintained, is made easier by having not so much a love for your partner, but having that respect for your partner as well, that they're quite capable of making these decisions as well as you. You're not the only one that can make a decision in a family, and you have to share those responsibilities. And
that's another big thing well, I think you shouldn't do is to run down your wife to your kids. At her worst, she didn't want anything to do with the kids, so we had to try and encourage different things for her to do with the kids. At one stage she wouldn't leave the house, so we had to find different things. One thing was playgroup. Another thing that she did, which was right at the start, was Gymbaroo, which was just up the road from us. She was able to interact with other mums and kids as well. And that was something she could do alone, and she was able to recreate a bond with her.
I never thought that I'd be a stay-at-home dad. I do work part-time now, but initially when I had to resign my job, my wife went out to work full-time, and she wasn't managing that well either emotionally because of pretty much what I'd put her through. So she was really run down. She was kind of a bit frayed anyway. So I said to her, look, you go back to work and I'll just take care of everything on the home front. So all you have to do basically is come home from work and there's a meal on the table, and if you want to kiss the kids goodnight, you know, you can do that, but it's totally up to you. We were able to take that down, start to recover, and just allow the relationship to almost organically kind of grow again.
I've been lucky. That my relationship hasn't broken down, but there's certainly been times when it looked like it might have done. Really, really hard times to get through, and sometimes it's just like walking on a thin edge, whether it's going to last or it's not going to last. If the relationship still breaks down, you've still got that relationship with your children, and that's what you have to maintain. You don't give blame to anybody, and you certainly don't blame your kids, you don't blame your partner, and you certainly don't blame yourself. It's just what happens in life sometimes, and just remain with your own dignity and just keep on telling the kids, look, these are just some of the things that happen. We've got to remain strong.
Parents that are separated can often feel like they're reaching stalemates. The other partner won't cooperate. They see one solution, the other partner sees another solution. There doesn't seem to be any common ground. And so I think just being really creative about how you get stuff done and the kind of solutions that you come to is obviously going to involve all of those, you know, age-old skills of compromise and negotiation and cooperation. Sound easy, but they're really difficult to do. But I think it's really important to try and do as much as you possibly can. And I think the best that parents can make of that situation is to cooperate in the interests of the child. Keep those communication lines open. Try not to personalise things and make things personal, but just to really focus kind of as objectively as possible on the kids' needs and what the kids want. And to keep interaction civil as well, because it really means a lot. I mean, the kids love mum, but they also love dad. So if mum's kind of running dad down, they feel defensive of dad and vice versa, and they kind of feel torn between the two. So when mum and dad are kind of at least being civil to one another, it helps with those the emotional trauma that kids are experiencing. I think at the end of the day, you need to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I've done everything I can possibly do. And I can look myself in the eye and I know that I've done my very best today for my kids, and I think that's the best you can do in a really difficult situation.